lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather, and this is The Happenings with H.A.P. Happy February. I have missed everyone. Sorry I've been MIA for the last week. I just kind of needed to take a break. I wasn't feeling too well. It was a lot of stuff, and I didn't unfortunately have any pre-filmed videos to upload, so I had to skip a week. But we are back, and it is officially February 1st, which means that it is time for me to film my February TBR for you all. But because it is February and it is Black History Month, I wanted to focus my reading exclusively on Black authors this month. As a white cis booktuber, I feel it's my responsibility to give voice to the unfortunate reality that BIPOC authors are often marginalized in the publishing industry as well as marketing for their novels, and that's unfortunate. There's a lot of books I've been wanting to read, and this is like the perfect month to actually knock a bunch off my TBR, and I'm super excited. These cover a range of genres from fantasy, contemporary, LGBTQ, romance, historical fiction. It really hits like almost everything that I'm interested in, which is why they've been on my TBR for a bit on Goodreads anyway. Some of these are newer releases, some of these are backlisted novels, and I'm really excited to spend this whole month reading from these amazing authors. If you feel so inclined and you enjoy my content, hit that little subscribe button down below. Give me a like, comment, dislike. I have a couple people that gave me dislikes because I asked to. Do whatever floats your boat. I will be here making content regardless. And with all of that, let's get into my February TBR. The first book on my list is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Rosanne A. Brown, and it is the first in a fantasy duology that is inspired by West African folklore. I don't have any real exposure or knowledge in West African folklore, so I'm really excited to learn some of that while reading this, as well as maybe doing some back research as I'm reading it, just to kind of get a better understanding. So that's already something that is really cool to me. But the plot itself sounds really interesting as well. It follows two characters, Malik and Karina. Malik is a refugee, and along with his sisters, he is on his way to the city of Ziran. And Malik and his family are trying to go to Ziran in order to have a better life. But at the entrance to the gate, this malevolent spirit ends up kidnapping his younger sister Naya. And in an effort to get her back, he makes a bargain with the spirit that he must kill Karina, who is the crown princess of Ziran. So that's the one plot point. Then we have Karina, who is the aforementioned princess, and her mother was recently assassinated, and she wants to do some type of ritual to resurrect her mother, but in order to do that, she needs the blood of a king. So there's some sort of competition that happens during the Solsticia festival, and the victor of that, she's going to offer her hand in marriage. Thus, she will be able to get the heart of a king. So with this knowledge known, Malik ends up entering the competition, and the two meet and actually start developing feelings for each other, not knowing that they have to end up killing one another to succeed both tasks that they want to do. This is giving me a little bit of the Night Circus vibes, where these two characters that shouldn't fall in love are. It's a very interesting sounding plot. There seems like there's going to be a lot of angst, which if you know me, you know I love my angst, especially when it comes to romance, so I'm here for that. I'm super excited to read this. The second book of this duology is actually supposed to be released this year, so I probably picked the perfect time to start this because then I don't have to wait as long for the second one if I really love it, and by the sound of the synopsis, I think I really am going to, so I'm super excited to read this one. The next book on my list is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. So this is a young adult contemporary LGBTQ rep as well as mental illness rep. So this novel follows Liz Leidy, who is kind of an under-the-radar girl. She suffers from anxiety, she's shy, but she has a really good close group of friends, and she's really great at academics as well as music, and her hope is to get into her college of choice on a music scholarship so that she can go to college to become a doctor. And everything seems to be going great. She's in her final year of high school, but unfortunately she does not end up getting the music scholarship to this college, which puts her out of money to be able to actually go to college in the first place. So in order to fulfill her dream of becoming a doctor and going to her dream school, she ends up signing up to join the prom corps in hopes of becoming prom queen, because if you become prom queen, you get a $10,000 scholarship. And the high school she goes to in Indiana is like all about prom. How college towns are all about college football, they're all about prom in this book. And it's a huge deal for a Black woman to run, and her former best friend Jordan is also running, and he's one of the few black men that has ever run as well. So she's trying to navigate this new world of like pseudo popularity, as well as kind of dealing with the fact that she meets a new girl at the school and is developing feelings for her. However, she is not openly out to anyone but her very, very close friends and family. Spoiler alert, I have already started this book. I will not give anything away otherwise, but I'm super excited to see how it's going to end because I still don't know as of filming this, even though I have read some of it. Super excited to finish this book. It's been very good so far. The next book on my list is A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow. And this one deals with black sirens, which is awesome. I've only ever read one other Black Mermaid book, and that was The Deep by River Solomon, which I highly, highly suggest if you have not read it yet. It was one of my favorite books of last year. And this one sounds like it's going to be a cross between the fantastical as well as the real world, so very much an urban fantasy. In this universe, sirens exist. By the sound of the synopsis, some black people are also imbued with magical powers, but not all of them. And the story takes place in Portland, Oregon, and Tavia is a siren, but she has to hide. I'm assuming that being a siren is very much like kind of being a witch, if you will. In like Salem witch trials, it's an other, and she probably does not want to other herself even more. And also, if you know anything of folklore, sirens are considered dangerous. They're not exactly the same as mermaids, so something to also keep in mind. Whether that's actually true for the sirens in this book, I don't know. I'm just basically going off the synopsis. This seems to be a young adult novel, as both her best friend Effie and herself are currently in high school, so she's just trying to navigate her life by holding on to this secret and trying to live a somewhat normal life in a town that does not have many black people, let alone black people that have powers like she does. So there is some sort of siren murder trial that ends up happening that makes headlines. Like I said, their sirens seem to be a known entity in this universe, and this very popular fashion influencer that is one of Tavia's favorites actually ends up coming out as a siren. Unfortunately, Tavia ends up accidentally revealing her siren voice when she is at a police stop. So that's all I really know about it, and it seems to be navigating the world of, you know, the fantastical as well as the national headlines that are making the news. So I'm very interested of how this is going to meld those two elements together, not only focusing on Tavia being a black woman, but also her otherness of being a siren, which is considered something that is dangerous. There's multiple levels to this, and I'm really looking forward to exploring it more. Apparently this is the first book in a series, and the second book is also being released in 2021. It's really strange that I'm reading these books and their sequels are all coming out. Again, if I really love it, I don't have to wait very long for the sequel, so I'm very excited for that. And like I said, this is very interesting, and I'm really much looking forward to it. The next book on my list is Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. So this is a contemporary romance drama, and it follows Jack and Kate, who meet and instantly kind of have an attraction. There's chemistry. Jack is like head over heels in love with this woman, and he introduces her to his friends, and everything's fantastic, and like this might be like the one. But unfortunately, Kate ends up dying. Not sure how or why, but when she dies, Jack is transported back to when they first met. I'm not sure if this is going to be like in a holidays where there is a supernatural force that keeps resetting a la Groundhog Day, or if this is just like a one-way trip back. Knowing the fact that she dies and the fact that she's in front of him again, he's going to do everything he can to keep her alive. However, his choices and actions do have consequences when someone else close to him ends up dying for a choice that he made. So he essentially has to choose between the possible love of his life and someone else close to him. I'm not sure who the someone else close to him is, and again, I'm not sure if he continuously can travel back, if this is just a repeating day, or if this is kind of a parallel storyline. It kind of gives me In Another Time vibes by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I really enjoyed. So I'm not sure what to make of this, and it's a very short synopsis, but I'm happy for that because I'm really excited to discover where this book is going to go. I've heard wonderful things about this book, so I'm really, really excited for it. The next book on my list is Black Enough, and it is a young adult anthology series edited by E.B. Zaboy, who wrote Pride, a book I absolutely loved. It features 17 different Black authors writing a whole bunch of different short stories about about the young Black experience in America, and it ranges in entirely different genres. I don't read too many anthologies. The only ones I really have read have been like horror ones or the Shadowhunter ones. So I'm really excited to read this because I'll be honest, the majority of these authors would be new to me. So I'm excited to, you know, be exposed to new authors and hopefully finding even more favorites through this. Because of what this month is supposed to represent, I think that this is a really great book to have included on my TBR as exposure to more Black voices, as many Black voices as I can get exposure to this month, and also to just read about something that I'll never experience. I will never know what it's like to be Black in America. Really looking forward to reading this book, and I'm going to be reading the audiobook, so it's going to be a whole bunch of different narrators as well, and that always excites me. I'm very much looking forward to this one. The next book on my list is actually going to be a physical book. Like I had said in my 2021 resolutions, I am trying to read at least one physical novel every month, and it also is one that I actually ended up finding in my building as a kind of secondhand used book haul, and it is Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. This book is a generational historical fiction that follows two half-sisters, Afia and Essie, and they were born in two different villages in 18th century Ghana. Afia ends up marrying a rich Englishman and moves to the Cape Coast castle and ends up having a very comfortable life in Ghana, while her half-sister Essie is actually imprisoned in the lower part of the same castle to be shipped to America in the slave trade. And the book follows both of their descendants through the years from 18th century to present day, while Afia's descendants end up staying in Ghana and having to deal with British occupation and colonization, as well as the wars that have ravaged that country. We see Essie's descendants having to go through, you know, from the Civil War through Jim Crow all the way to present day. I'm really excited to read this. I've heard amazing things about this book. I am very much a fan of historical fiction, and especially like longer tales, like generational tales. So I'm really curious of how this is going to be interwoven. It really caught my eye when I saw it. Like I literally just saw it laying there and I was like, this looks really interesting. I want to read this book. So very excited to read this, and it's not too long actually. It's only, my copy is messed up, so it is only like 300 pages. So this should be probably a pretty quick read. I'm really much looking forward to it, and I'm also glad to be reading a book off my bookshelf. So that's also a win in my book. And that is it. We've reached the end of my TBR. I think my makeup is probably like coming off. It's a lot of books. I'm hoping to get to most of them. And like I said, I really just wanted to expose myself to more authors that I don't know, more stories that are not part of my experience. And I really encourage you this month to do the same. And if you really want to read more, but you're kind of not sure where to start, aside from the books that I mentioned, I really encourage you to support Black booktubers and Black bookstagrammers and anyone outside of your own identity circle. Like that's something that I always try to do, and I just hope that my channel can be used as a way for people to be exposed to more. I post about what I like, and I also post about what I believe in, so I recommend to really focus on, you know, supporting not only BIPOC authors but BIPOC content creators as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you've read any of these books, let me know. If you haven't, also let me know, and if you have any more recommendations based on these books that you think I might like, please let me know, because I'm always looking for more. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!